Y'all there? Alright, y'all can see me, right? Yeah, all my wrinkles on my old forehead. I gotta set this down because I need to read something to y'all. I got some confirmation I've been waiting on from a buddy of mine that's retired. Well, he was an officer, police officer in Dallas, Texas for like 16 years, and then he went into the investigative side, and then actually he went to the sheriff's office after that, and now he's retired and he actually works oil field. Total craziness, but that's how it is. I wanna go over something, because something that's always bugged me in the Sebastian Rogers case was, if y'all remember, on the 2nd of April, I believe it was, which was what, the day before my birthday, we were actually in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Well, we were actually about 29 miles outside of Hendersonville, Tennessee. But when that came across the scanner, right, about the address and then the warrant being criminal, and everybody was so confused and so trying to understand, and you know, why would they do this, why would they not? It wasn't an arrest warrant, remember, it was just a criminal warrant. Well, the criminal activity warrant, right, which is a criminal warrant, which could mean, for one, the main focus of that particular warrant, according to my sources, is criminal activity. A part of an investigation, right, that indicates that a criminal offense was committed. They believe a criminal offense was committed, and a judge signed off on this based on evidence that could lead to seizure of a vehicle, a phone. We noticed that, remember they said that they didn't take a lot of the stuff from the home. Like, there's certain things that evidently are coming out, and I know it's been a long time, guys, but this is something that I can now talk about that I couldn't talk about beforehand. But evidently there was some cameras, right? A lot of people came out, I remember, and said cameras, they had to have had cameras, and then some people said no, some people said yes. Well, evidently when they got something back, okay, and I don't know if this was Secret Service, if this was someone else, evidently, that if you know that when you do dumps in areas that they pick up all kinds of things, right? Well, a lot of times, if it's working off of Wi-Fi or internet or whatever, like a camera, Ring camera, it's working off the internet or connected to a cell phone, right, which links to that cell phone, which we know, like, their door locks were linked to their cell phone. Okay, I'm just trying to paint the overall picture, because I want y'all to understand that this could mean any one of these things. It could have been something about the door lock, right? They wanted to take that door lock off. Maybe something was discovered that, hey, we can actually search the history of this no matter if they wiped it or not. Maybe it was something led them to this. Whether it would be a dump that was done in the beginning, that maybe something was overlooked and maybe someone else caught it. But some kind of criminal activity they're being suspected of. Now, I don't know which one of them. My source is telling me that it's the mom. I've never really talked about this part of it, but from what I'm learning is that the eyeball has been on Katie. And I think that's why she's been so quiet and hesitant to talk. And he did so much talking because evidently he felt like if they were going to get one of them, they were going to get her, not him, which he'll eventually go down to. If he knew about it and had knowledge of it, which I'm sure he did, he defended her to the end, right? Which I think the end is actually almost here, to be honest. I'm hearing some things that are flying through the tunnels right now. And I wasn't going to talk about it. I've been silent about a week about it. And actually I did 3 or 4 videos a few days ago and I never posted them, because I was like, I can't talk about that yet. But now, if it's associated with an address, right, then that suggestion is that something is believed to be at that location that they have issued, that they believe was criminal activity, and now they're filing a criminal warrant of seizure to take whatever that may be, whether that be a person, whether that be, usually it'll have a person's name if it is a person, but like he said, if they're trying to keep it under wraps, it could have been for both of them. It could have been for both of their cell phones. They could have discovered that they had other phones. They could have discovered these other things that we had sent in about these different ways of communicating through this network you can utilize, right? That's like almost non-traceable, where you can take a phone off of a shelf that doesn't have a number and utilize that number from your home, which is a private hidden number, and make it work on that particular cell phone or that device, iPad, tablet, whatever. We talked about this in a video a while back. I don't know if y'all paid as much attention to it, but the thing is here that's getting me on this, the communication is when it's usually done over radios, like, you know how they wear the radios on their side, on their up by their shoulder now, the little mics, whatever. Something is dispatched to them, or usually done to them on their cell phone. Then they get on the radio and they communicate it out to an individual. It's the importance of this, remember, is this is basically, look, I'm just going to read it. I got it right. I didn't want to give it to y'all, but I'm just going to hell with it. I'll just go ahead and do it. I know I probably shouldn't do it, but at this point, I don't care. The important to remember is that having a criminal warrant doesn't necessarily mean that a person is guilty, but it means legal authorization is based on information and evidence, okay? Some kind of strong evidence made them do this, right? That's all I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna get all the other details about it because I don't want to start something here. But what I'm getting over this overall picture of what I'm being explained to, because I asked, please break it down in every way possible. It sent me about 9 pages, okay, to explain what this could mean in every way and shape, form, right? Okay, because that's what I wanted to know. Is there some way that this can mean nothing? And then the answer to that question, no. Okay. Does it mean that both or one could be, right, guilty of something that they just recently discovered evidence on? Yes. Okay. Is this something that could be something to do with a court hearing or a trial? 0, no. That is considered subpoenas and other things, which is what we thought, but I wanted to get 100% confirmation. And I know I'm a little late at the game of getting this out, right? But I wanted to make sure I had it right. And it's looking to me like, from what I'm gathering from what I received, basically based on their regulations and how the laws work, and because every state could possibly be different, but I gave him the state, I gave him the scanner, I sent him the clip of it being, you know, shouted out on the radio to give him a better understanding, because he's like, I need to know exactly what was said, right? And because he said sometimes they might have let something out 5 or 10 minutes before that you didn't catch, and then when they came down to this part of it, it could have been a bigger picture that we didn't see. For him, what he believes this is that they gathered evidence that pointed them to get a judge to sign this, to put out a criminal warrant for a seizure of something, whether it be that truck with that Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, whatever, whether it been Katie's car, whether it be another vehicle, whether it be cell phones, computers, cameras that were basically run off Wi-Fi, or cell phone data, something that is to do with electronics mainly is what he's saying, whether it be cameras, phones, iPads, tablets, computers, all kinds of devices, right? We know that this could be. The good thing about this is that it has meaning. Meaning that we actually might be closer to getting an answer than we thought. You got to remember, this was April, right? So now we're at April 2nd to May 2nd, May 2nd to June 2nd, okay? That's what, a couple of months? That's not that far. Because once they seize this, okay, they send it off. Because it all has to be done based on the warrant, right? So if there was 5 warrants piled into that one warrant to get that one device, or multiple devices, or cameras, or phones, or anything of this nature. Remember when Stephen Stearns wiped out and completely cleared his phone out twice, but yet everything still remained? Remember that, right? Because everything is mystery in a cloud, a cloud, a cloud, a cloud, okay? The one thing about it is you're looking at 30 to 90 days, most likely, for them to, that's about how long it would take to get everything back once the seizure is done. That means once that warrant is served and those devices are taken, I think it's either the Apple Watch or some kind of cameras that they might have had, whether it be a ring light bulb, something that was controlled on their phones. Which is what I'm kind of getting the understanding of, is basically it's some kind of either camera footage or door lock information that they needed to, either they found something not to be credible and so they went after it. It could have been something that was tucked away, that was seen by somebody new that was put on the case, or somebody new that looked at the case, or and said, hey, did you check this and this? This is showing us something right here. Did y'all catch this? And if they said no, okay, well, let's figure out what could it be, right? And I'm wondering, I've always wondered, did they have a camera inside that home? Did they have those ring light bulbs? I think they did. Based on neighbors, like that light bulb to them, when I showed them a photo, they were pretty sure that that's exactly what the light bulb similarly looked like, which is like, you know, they make all different kinds of brands. I've showed you, y'all can get them for as low as like $9.99, right? At Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco's, BJ's, Sam's Club. A lot of them sell these light bulbs, and you can put them in any light socket in your home or outside. And it's basically a camera that you can control from your cell phone. Which means it would be on your electronic device, which means even if you deleted it and wiped it out, it's still there somewhere. And maybe it was overlooked in the beginning and then it was found, right? And then it was, okay, now we got to send this off to make sure. If y'all remember, Stephen Stearns, they found that stuff right away, but then they had to send it off to get everything recovered correctly. That could take up to 90 days, guys. So if we're to know something about this, if it is going to be what I think it is, we're only looking at about less than 30 days before we probably know. Is this going to lead to an arrest? According to my sources, he's 90% sure that it's probably going to lead to something that's not going to be good for them. And evidently there was another one served in Gallatin 2 or 3 days later. So if that is to be true, and that is to be correct, okay, remember that the Bowersox had 2 of these lines. If you go back and watch my video, 2 of these mystery secret phone lines, right? That goes through all kinds of like IPs and things of this nature that you can utilize different. Okay, if that is the case, and that gives them 2 lines for 2 phones that would never be identified unless the right person knew about it. But what's shocking to me, guys, is that when I sent all this information in February, right towards the year anniversary, I sent in all those videos that I had made with all that information and all this information that I had. I sent it into the FBI, right? Because I didn't trust sending it in the other way. So I sent it in that way, and I titled it Sebastian Rogers case. Could be tips, could be nothing. That's what I put. Please, at least, look at, right? I don't know if they do or not. They could throw the shit away. I don't really know. Trigger warning, excuse my language. But they could. They don't have to look at my stuff necessarily. But I had mentioned these private hidden lines in there. And I did it on a video as well. And so, if that is, maybe that raised an alarm. Maybe it made them look at something twice. Maybe it had nothing to do with it. I'm impossible, most likely, probably had nothing to do with it. But this is probably something that they had already discovered and were in the process of trying to figure out. But what if that is coming to something? Here we are giving up in a way. I'm not, but a lot of people are. And that's usually when something breaks, right? It's when people start fading and giving up, and then it's like, whack. Like that whack that he said he did to Sebastian. It's like whacked him upside the head with something, So are we going to see arrests, right, in the next 30 days, or less than 30 days? I'm counting it down, guys, to the 2nd of next coming month. April to May, May to June, June to July. That'd be right before Independence Day. What a holiday to make an arrest. July 4th, my sister's birthday. That would be something. Wouldn't that be a shocker if on the 4th of July, these people are in the middle of partying down, thinking they got away with everything, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a flashbang goes off, a door kicked in, or a camper door ripped off, flashlights pointing in their face, and night vision goggles staring down their throat, and they're looking down the barrel of assault rifles going, holy crap, what just happened? Man, oh man, wouldn't that be something, guys? I don't know. I was going to wait till around the time of July to put these videos out. I don't know how many days I'm going to wait before I actually post this thing, or if I post it at all. It'd be like the 4th one that I've made and haven't posted. Because y'all know me, if I put something out, I want to make sure that I've checked it, double checked it, okay? I told you I was going to fight for Sebastian Rogers as hard as I could possibly fight. I've been trying everything. I've tried to be quiet about it. But at this point, I think we might actually be getting some good news. I think something big might be coming. I know it's faded. I don't care. Because to me, in a way, sometimes cold cases are quicker. A fresh cold case sometimes is solved quicker than a year and 15 or the 15 months that we haven't had nothing. But, and a lot of people, the thing is, you got to go back and look at Seth Rogers. Around that time, what was he saying? I'm renewed, I'm reconfident that they're 150% invested in this case and that they have a mountain of evidence, okay? I know now, recently, he's gone out there and said that they're not doing anything. But you know what? We got to remember, up until the last time they spoke was around that year anniversary, right? And it's been dead, calm silence. And if you really go back to April 2nd, of when that radio confirmation came out about the address of the home and the warrant being criminal, there has been a zero peep of law enforcement. Zero. Like 000 peep. Other things have come out, like America's Most Wanted and all these other things have come out, right? And if you remember, whenever they reached out to Sumner County for any information when they were doing this show, this of Children's Most Wanted or whatever it is, missing persons. Remember, you know what I'm talking about, guys. What did he say in that thing? Right? Contact the TBI, right? Or I'm not gonna say if we have suspects or persons of interest. I'm not gonna say if I'll play. He's always told us before that everything we wanted to know. But for some reason, right before this was about to bust out and break, he's all of a sudden silent. I don't have nothing to say about it. Talk to the TBI about it. Doesn't that have some really And I know we looked at it as, man, I've even kind of turned my tide. I did a video yesterday that thank God I didn't post about maybe the election time coming up needs change. Maybe we need to get Eric Craddock out of there, the DA out of there, and elect some other officials that'll solve these cases. And that still might be a possibility. But now that I got this information, I'm kind of like, I'm like renewed myself. I actually caught myself smiling for once about Sebastian Rogers and thinking that maybe we are going to get some answers, and actually really soon. So I want to know what y'all think, right? And tonight I'm gonna go over all this, because it's really literally, guys, if I was to break this off of this other phone, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages, all pertaining to a warrant criminal to an address. Anything that it possibly could have been. But it narrowed it all the way down to 2 possible scenarios. And at a 98.71% correct out of these 2. And we're going to talk about them tonight. I need to make a few phone calls before I do this, make sure. But it's something that I think needs to be discussed. It's something that needs to be broken down. It's given me a better understanding of this entire case. It really has. And why we thought they may have made mistakes in the beginning that maybe they really didn't make. If you remember, when I play those clips over and over again, right? Remember Eric Craddock said he pretty much didn't believe Katie on 24 hours in, remember? But you know, one of the main ones that I kind of go back to, and I know y'all get mad at me probably for playing it all the damn time, but it's frustrating, but I still like to play it because I think that it's really going to have some dang good meaning in this case. I really do. I think it's going to amount to something.
By the front door, punched in the code. Believe it or not, no, it's not super clear, but you would have seen a shadow or a figure.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
And based on, you know, something, one of the lights is still visible from that green camera from across the street.
Remember that? We talk about this a lot because I play that clip a lot, right? Shout out to Smalley's World again for, you know, for getting that out of him, for getting the truth out of him. That's one lie, that's one piece of truth that he can never deny, because it's his mouth, it's his words, right? You know, we know in 2019 he left the Navy, right? There's some things that I want to talk about the reasons why he left the Navy, which nobody's talked about. I've been doing my research, people. I think a lot of y'all know that. The ones that have been here with me since the start, since October when we started this channel, I think, you know, we hadn't even been, what, 6-7 months is all we've had our channel. But we dig in way different ways. We search in way different ways. We've done a lot of searching for Sebastian Rogers. We spent, you know what, when I was doing my budgets, just to give y'all an idea of what it costs every time you go searching. And I don't make any money off my channel. I don't, you know what I mean? So it's all funded by me. But I will say that over 15 grand I spent in total, just on Sebastian Rogers' case alone, just in searching. You know, that's meals, hotels, airplanes, mainly flights, because we had to use private flights because of the dog, right? So I couldn't. It's too hard to get a regular flight with a dog and have to kennel. No, grab a jump on, let her lay down right there on the floorboard, and let's go, right? That's the best way to do it. Yeah, it's a little more expensive, but I'm in and out, and I'm home the same night, usually. There was a couple nights we camped out in the woods, but, you know, I've never released those videos yet. And we did some night searching there. I think one of them I did when that cold front came in. It's an old video. Remember how I had on a short sleeve shirt when that freaking goddamn Arctic air blew in there and about froze us to death? We were searching those tunnels that led to those manholes. And we were putting that remote control car with a camera on it in there, with the GoPro. We were trying to search all those tunnels. And y'all kept telling me to go back, remember? Please go check those. So that's when we went back that night to search those tunnels. That's when I got sick. And that cold front blew in. We had walked so far, like 2 miles in that cold. We were not prepared for that. We didn't think that was going to blow in like that. But, you know, even going back to then, information that I gathered, I always keep it in notebooks. And lately, the last couple of weeks, I've been going over a lot of that information. And, you know, getting this information and slowly over the last couple of weeks, man, it's really given me a sense of hope. A sense of my strong faith. Y'all know my strong faith, right? My strong faith, the belief and hope, and that prayer works, and you know that everything will be solved. And I really, this kind of reassured me that the reason we fought so hard is because we've always felt that this child did not vanish on his own. I think that's clear. The dogs would have clearly picked him up. It's something that to think about. When that thing came out, I remember hearing that when that criminal warrant came out on the scanner. I was there. I was in Hendersonville when that happened. I remember when we were close, but I remember that, and I was like, no way, they just said that. And then I had to hear it again. That's when I came on and played it for y'all. I think the same day we did a short little video on it right after we heard it. And clearly, guys, there's something to that. And it has meaning. That's not something you just hear and it's an error or mistake. That would have been put out as an error or mistake. But they've also been tight-lipped about it. Never said nothing about it. Like the Apple Watch, right? Remember that evidently they don't know where her Apple Watch is or something. But I'm wondering now if they do know, right? I'm wondering if they got a lot more stuff that they didn't get in the beginning that they recovered now. And they're just waiting on some of that data, if some of it hasn't already come back. There's a possibility that they might have a lot of it back. They might have enough right now almost to get that warrant signed for arrest this time instead of criminal warrant for seizures and stuff. It's letting us know that a criminal activity, they suspect criminal activity. Same as a landfill search. Probable cause, criminal activity, same damn thing. They were out there looking for his body in that trash, and they clearly told us that afterwards. We're disappointed in the outcome. We thought it was going to bring closure. Okay, I've always said that's going to be important. That morning drive that Katie took that morning is another big important. That flashlight video is another big important. There's 4 or 5 things out here, guys, that explain that if we really stopped back instead of judging law enforcement and looked at it for a different angle, thinking maybe they're freaking doing this, and man, they've just kept it so under wraps that, like Jack and Lily case, right? It's crazy. But maybe that's the norm. Maybe that's the new thing. Maybe that's 2022 or 2025 is going to be more of keeping everything to themselves, right? It's going to upset us a lot, but we just have to work harder to get information. But I'm really clearly into the hope now and prayers now that this is fixing to lead to something really big. Something that should have been done over a year and a half ago, or right at a year and a half ago. I hope so, because to me, they've got away with it long enough. So, is it going to bring down all 5, right? I think it's the 5. I think it's 5 involved. And I think there's only one source that did what they did, and I think that's the mother. But I think everybody else helped to cover it up. But I still am wondering, because what I said in some of my videos before, you know how the Bowerstocks are very evil, right? He's been married, what, 5 times, right? So how come only one of the wives has been able to put up with them evil people? It's because she's just as evil or more evil. So when you're looking down the face of evil, what are the questions you're going to ask? I wouldn't ask the question of, did you do it? My question would be, why did you snap? Right? That would be my question. What did Sebastian do, Katie, to make you snap? That's the question I want to answer. Not did you or could you have or any of that. That's why did you snap, right? And of course, this is my opinion. I can ask any question I want. I'm just asking it to y'all and to the public, right? Hey, what do y'all think the reason is? I mean, these are my alleged opinions. Take it as a grain of salt. I'm entitled to speak my freedom of speech is my freedom of speech. And we already know that they came after YouTubers and they flat out fell on their face with false allegations against them. And I hope these YouTubers take every penny these people got. I hope they take all their dang pensions from the military. I hope they take everything from these people. Their home, their cars. I hope they leave them with just the clothes on their back. Because that's how they left their son, Sebastian Rogers. That's how Katie left her son. Because if he was to wander off, she damn sure ain't look for him. So she's been okay with him being out there and her not knowing where or why. Come on. Her and Malaya are the same people. Two evil mothers, in my opinion. And two evil as hell stepfathers, in my opinion. Right, you're talking about Chris Proudfoot, the man that used to be mean to animals, right? He used to unalive frogs and goats and birds just for the fun of it, just to put them in his mouth, just to use firecrackers on animals, right? It's just an abusive behavior that leads to something more. And I'm sorry, he's evil. You know what it reminds me of, right? And I haven't talked about this. I have talked about it. I just haven't released a video because it crushes my heart. But Travis Decker, Christopher Proudfoot, same people to me. Same people. Something in their minds, in their bodies. They were born evil, like Rex Sherman. They were born evil. Ted Bundy, Brian Kohlberger. They were born evil. We're just seeing a lot more of them now because they're getting caught. So my question is to everyone out there, when will they be caught? When will the handcuffs come? Not why, I think we know why. When, right? Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, in my opinion, did not leave that house on his own. I don't think he even made it home. I think whatever happened in that vehicle, and she covered it up from there. And with the help of Chris, the Bowersox, and Melissa, I think they all worked together and they all tag teamed it and got it taken care of and to try to keep Katie. And they've all been protecting Katie. Who was there first? Kathy Bowersox, the most evil one of all, the mastermind. She was there with Katie before the cops got there. Why? She needed somebody that was that evil to help defend her. But Katie didn't need that because she was already more evil than Kathy anyway. She just played the victim. She wasn't the victim. She's the initiator. And in my opinion and my thoughts, guys, allegedly, Chris and Katie, the Bowersox and Melissa, all know the truth. And it's going to come out. I feel that it's going to come out. And now that I'm getting this, I'm thinking even more that it's going to come out by July 4th. Go out with firecrackers. I hope they're camping on 4th of July. I hope they're camping somewhere in that camper because I can't wait to see how SWAT would take a door off a camper. I would love to see that. And I think we're going to get to see that. Maybe I shouldn't release this because then they might go hide somewhere. I think they know that the time is ticking. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. The watch is ticking, ticking, ticking. Nothing but time. You know, sometimes when you think you got away with something, it comes back and whack. Like Chris Proudfoot always says, he did to that little young boy with autism. He just whacked him for not having a gun. Man, oh man. And the mama never did nothing. That's why you realize that she's more evil than him. That's why they're a match made in heaven. He's got one horn, she's got the other. Together they're the devil. They're demons that walk among us. That were supposed to fight for their country, give their lives to their country, just for our freedom. And the one that they so much needed to protect in all of this, they failed. They couldn't protect him. Because they saw him for some reason as a burden. And the more older he got, the angrier Katie Proudfoot got. And the more that Christopher abused this child, the more she watched and the more she was okay with it. Until one day, something must have happened that she snapped. And the rest, hopefully, law enforcement can tell us. Or FBI. Because I do have a feeling that FBI has really been the cause of all this. So we'll see how it goes, guys. Remember, trigger warnings times 100 million. Y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel. We do our research together because we are a big heart little family. Remember, these are my opinions, my free speech. You know, my speculations, my theories. It's entertainment purposes. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, even in a criminal warrant case. For Stafford Court, right? I'm ready for the handcuffs. I'm ready for a SWAT team to take them down. I hope Dog the Bounty Hunter is sitting up there on the PA when SWAT kicks that camper door in. Come out with your hands up! I hope. And I hope he's wearing a green hat and a green shirt. And I hope that all the Sebastian supporters find out about this in the second that it unfolds. I might happen to just go down there and be in that area on July 4th. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. But remember, guys, like I said, these are my opinions, my thoughts, my speculation, my free speech. I'm entitled to it. My big alleged bubble here. Take it as a grain of salt, sitting next to the Titanic, which that anniversary is coming up with the Titan sub. And that was another evil person that knew that machine was not equipped to go down to that Titanic. So to me, he unalived those 4 men, well, 3 men and a young teenager. The Dowwoods, Harding, Mr. Titanic himself. You know, it's just, that was a sad situation, and we're gonna do one on that. I felt bad for those families, but you know, they knew the waiver, they signed it. It mentioned it, what, 8 or 9 times on the first page, something like that. But anyway, all in all, like I said, everyone's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Justice for Sebastian Rogers. I know this is a sudden video, and it might be a shock to some, but you know what, guys? I got all the pages here to back it up. So we'll talk soon. Y'all be safe, be good. We love y'all, guys. Have a blessed day. Justice for Sebastian Rogers. All the missing, all the runaways, they run for a reason. The truth for Sebastian Rogers, I don't think is very far away. We'll see what happens. We've talked about this before, but I never had something like this to really get me excited about it. So we'll see what happens. I hope that Sebastian Rogers' justice is only a month away, or less than that, actually. We'll see. Anyway, guys, y'all be safe, be good. We love y'all. Have a blessed day. Bye.